Good morning and happy Vlogmas day 10. I'm just getting ready to do my errand today, which is to return the white Sony ZV-1 to UPS. So I have to package it up and then drop it off. But I have to blow dry my hair because it's below freezing outside. It's like -7, -5, I think, which means if you go outside with wet hair, it will freeze. We were gonna do a time lapse of me doing my hair, but my camera ran out of battery. So this is the finished look. So I just used the Dyson Airwrap. I do like to curl my hair once every couple of weeks, just for something a little bit different, and it makes me feel beautiful and glam, even though I'm just gonna be at home most of the day. So now that I'm ready, I'm going to quickly package up the camera and the bow. Last night I actually printed off the return label for me, and then I just gotta drop it off at UPS. I'm being careful because I don't want to dox myself. This is what I'm wearing: H&M sweater, Uniqlo jacket, and then mango jeans and Blundstones. And I'm actually using my new mask chain, the one I got from Lover's Tempo. The mask is Aritzia. It's -3 degrees outside. Okay, that was actually really quick. There was someone in there that had to fill out a form and all that stuff, but at least they know to prioritize, and if you're just dropping something off, you can just drop it off and away you go. Okay, I'm just changing into a more leisure outfit because I don't know who can chase around a baby in jeans, but it's not me. But I wanted to show you guys one of like the best discoveries of 2020 for me. My mom actually told me about this, and it's the OOTD, I don't remember what it's called. It's OOTD veil, I believe. OOTD O veil. And basically, if you've ever had an issue with getting makeup all over the collar of any sweater, especially like light colored, cream colored sweaters, you need this. It's from Amazon. Again, not sponsored, but I absolutely love it. So it's basically this thin mesh veil with this elastic piece on it that you pop over your head like so. And then basically it just acts as a cover for your hair and also your makeup. It's probably better if you just tuck all of your hair in the veil, but I'm too lazy to do that. But yeah, it essentially protects all of your sweaters from makeup stains, especially if you're like me. And I mean, not so much now because I wear the same thing all the time, but when I used to have to get dressed for work every day, I sometimes, if I don't like plan my outfit accordingly, I will spend like 15 minutes just taking tops on and off. And I have ruined, well, not ruined, but I've had to launder tops right away even without wearing them because I've gotten like makeup smears all over them. So if that happens to you, this is awesome. Like I said, you can get it on Amazon. How much was it? It was like 16 bucks plus shipping, I think, because it doesn't, it's not part of like the Amazon Prime, so you have to pay for shipping, but it's awesome. It's honestly the best thing that I picked up in 2020. In case you're wondering, the sweater I'm currently wearing is from H&M. It's almost time for Chloe to wake up from her nap, and it looks like she's still sleeping so soundly. Hi, Chloe. Did you have a good nap? Did you have a good nap? Look at your cute little toesies. What are you doing? Are you gonna come down? Are you gonna come down? Come on, you know how to come down. Mama taught you. Mama taught you. Come on. I'm having leftovers from last night, and I'm just realizing that this bowl is chipped. My Apple silicone case is supposed to be delivered today, but it hasn't arrived yet. So while I wait for it, quite impatiently, I thought we would do part 2 of the Q&A. I did add a few questions that I received from the first part of the Q&A, and like the first part, we're going to do it in categories. So I have YouTube, school/career, finance, and then miscellaneous. I'm going to take my phone out of its case because I just realized that, yeah, a lot of dirt actually gets trapped under this case and it makes the phone look very dusty. I wish I could just live my life caseless and just have my phone like this, but I'm way too prone to dropping it. Okay, I'm gonna start with the YouTube related questions. There's only 3. First one is, what gear aside from your camera are you using for filming? So you guys know that I just picked up the new Sony ZV-1, the black version this time, for vlogging, and I like to use this camera mainly for vlogging, also for taking videos of Chloe and doing like quick little b-rolls. My main camera that I use to film videos is a Canon 700D. I've had it for so long and I should really upgrade it, but it still works well. It doesn't shoot in 4K, but I never really upload in 4K anyway. I always do 1080p. So I'll probably get one in the foreseeable future, or a new one in the foreseeable future, but I really like it. It works great. I actually already talked about a lot of this in one of my past vlogs, which is how I show you my YouTube filming setup, I guess. So if you haven't seen that, I will link it here. So I have the camera, which is a DSLR, which I use to film the videos. I use a Rode mic. It's the Pro Rode mic, something like that, for audio. How much money do you make through YouTube? Definitely not enough to live on. I know some YouTubers, bigger YouTubers, obviously live very lavish lifestyles on the money they make from YouTube and all the stuff that comes from YouTube, like sponsorships and things like that. I, however, do not. I work a full-time job. Well, not right now because I'm on mat leave, but I usually work a full-time job, and that's what pays for the nice things that I have in my life. I do make YouTube money, but only through AdSense. I've only done one sponsored video, or really I should say I've only had one collaboration. I think we did 3 or 4 sponsored videos together, and needless to say I'm still working, so obviously they didn't pay me enough to retire on. But actually I have my YouTube studio here on my phone. So on average I probably make $100 a month through YouTube AdSense. It really depends though, because if I'm not making any videos, basically I'm just earning AdSense through the videos that are already currently on my channel. I usually probably get like $80 to $90 US, I should say US, through AdSense. When I'm actually posting videos, and depending on what time of the year it is, sometimes I can make up to $350, $400 US. And it also depends on just like how popular that video is. So sometimes like a video will go viral, I guess, or you know, get over like 50, 100,000 views. Obviously the more views you get, the more AdSense money you can get, but on average I probably get like $100 US a month. And yeah, so definitely not enough to live on, but I mean, you know, I could buy like a lipstick with that or something. The last YouTube related question is, would you do YouTube full-time? And never say never, but it's not something that's ever crossed my mind. I've never thought to myself, you know, I'm at I think 20,000 subscribers right now, and never at one point did I think, oh, you know what, I have like 20,000 subscribers right now, maybe I should put all of my time and energy into this and see if I can build something so I can quit my full-time job, or my 9-to-5 job, I guess, and pursue this full-time. I actually really enjoy working. I like what I do. I like even my commute to work. It's never really something that's interested me. I've never been like super entrepreneurial, and it's never something that, you know, some people are really passionate about it. They want to be their own boss. You know, I like working for an organization. I like having benefits through my workplace, and I like having a steady income. I mean, YouTube really fluctuates, right? You know, there's some YouTubers out there that were really popular in like I don't know, the late 2000s, but now like they're still making videos, but their views may have dropped significantly. So yeah, it's just a lot of unknown for me, and like I said, I actually really like what I do, and where I'm working and what I'm doing, so it's never once crossed my mind. But again, never say never, who knows, maybe it's something that I would consider in the future. Our second category is school slash career, and the first question is, what did you study in school? And I studied business. I actually have a Bachelor of Business Admin, and then I have like a specialty in accounting. Next question, there's a couple here. So what studies did you do? I already talked about that. Are you thinking of a professional retraining? So I'm not entirely sure what that question means per se, but you guys know, well, you may know, but I'm actually not practicing accounting. It's not what I am doing as a career now. It's been over a decade since I graduated university, and since then I have taken a different career path. I might have already explained the story, but I was in the field of like business and accounting, and I just like wasn't loving it. I kind of went into that field of study because it was the easy choice. I was good at it, and even though it didn't spark joy at the time when I was going through high school and going through university, there was definitely more of your traditional careers. Now you can literally be anything. There's careers for everything, and it's crazy how much that has changed. But before, it was like, do you want to go into healthcare? Do you want to go into business? Do you want to be an engineer? It was just these rigid boxes that you could fit into. So I chose the box of business and accounting, and so I was doing that, and a couple years into working, I was out of school, I was approached by the director of HR at a time at a previous organization that I worked at as an internal auditor, and he offered me this opportunity to work as an occupational health and safety administrator at the time. And I had no idea what that meant, but he explained to me that they were actually looking for someone with a little bit more business acumen that could fill that role. And I said, hey, I have that, so why not? Back then I took quite a bit of a pay cut from the previous job that I was working at, but I always think of it as sometimes you have to take a step back in order to take those 2 steps forward in the direction that you want to go. So that was fine. I mean, I didn't have any serious financial obligations or anything. I was single. I didn't have a kid or a mortgage at the time. So it's, you know, I was very fluid. I could do basically whatever I wanted career-wise. And then I really enjoyed what I was doing, and I was really good at it. So then I got promoted. So I'm working in a field, like I said, that I didn't go to school for, but since I started in this field, I've taken like professional development courses, I've obtained a designation, and it's just a lot more fulfilling, I guess, of a career for me. It's something that I actually enjoy doing. And the other question is, how long have you worked in your company? So I've actually been with this company for 7 years, starting in the new year. And this other opportunity that I'm considering taking is with a new company. So that's going to be a change, especially when you work for one single company for so long. Obviously change is a little bit nerve-wracking. Anyway, next question. So what's your job? So right now I'm on mat leave, so my job is being a full-time mom. But what I actually do is I'm an occupational health and safety professional. So I feel like that title has definitely come to the forefront a lot more because of COVID. And even just looking at career-wise, I've seen so many openings for that position, and it really depends on where you go and what company you're working for. The big companies are not really big companies, but I guess industries that really look for and recruit occupational health and safety professionals would be obviously construction, manufacturing, but there's lots of opportunities out there if it's something that you want to consider. Any TV show recommendations? We actually don't have cable, so the only shows that I watch are whatever's on Netflix or whatever is on Amazon Prime. The beau was watching something on Amazon Prime that looked really fascinating. I think it was called Superstore. I think it stars America Ferrera, and it seemed really funny. But other than that, I mean, I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I enjoy watching that on Netflix. And what other show? Oh, I just finished Emily in Paris, which I also really loved. It's kind of my guilty pleasure. Okay, let's talk about finance. There's only 2 questions. What's your financial principles in your household? Do you stay away from debt, etc.? We, and by we I mean my husband and I, the beau and I, we have a mortgage, so it's like we kind of have debt in that regard. I believe in not holding a credit card balance. It's just like our philosophy is not to hold a credit card balance, meaning you're never letting like a balance roll over so that you get charged interest on it. That's really been my principle my whole life. My mom really ingrained that in me. She said, you know, never spend money that you don't have. So, you know, back in my early years when I was like, you know, buying designer handbags and things like that, that was just like always in the back of my mind, so I'd always save the money for it and then purchase the bag instead of, you know, putting it on credit and then, you know, putting your minimum payments towards it, and then all of a sudden this like $1,000 bag becomes like a $3,500 bag because it takes you so long to pay it off. Did I answer that question? Financial principles, it's really just like, you know, stay within our means. So if we, like for example, we went through our kitchen reno, we saved for it. We didn't finance our kitchen reno, so we just took money out of some TFSAs and some cash that we had and put it towards that. So we basically saved up for it, so that you're not paying for a kitchen reno that took, you know, 6 weeks for 10 years. So in that regard, we, like if we're buying like big ticket things like that, we do pay cash for it. The next question is, I just got my first real big girl job. Congratulations. And wondering, how do you invest / save for the future? Sorry, I just got a text from my mom. She got new glasses and she sent me a photo asking how it looks. They look really good. Sorry, how do you invest and save for the future? So my recommendation, okay, this is totally based on if you live in Canada, because I don't know how like the financial institutions work in the States, like what kind of savings programs or things that they have, but in Canada you can have a tax-free savings account. So I highly recommend that if you haven't started one yet, you do start one, because it's basically tax-free money. So for example, if you have an RSP, if you put money towards it later on, when you're ready to take money out, so let's say you're retired, you have to pay tax on it. However, all the money that you put in your TFSA, you don't have to pay tax on when you take it out. So my recommendation is max out your TFSA as soon as possible if you're able to. Specifically, actually, you should open a direct investing TFSA so you can invest in low-cost index funds. So I would say to diversify, so they have like US, international, and then Canadian low-cost index funds that you can put your money into. So I would say diversify that way, because that way your money's not just sitting in a TFSA or even like a high interest savings account, it's actually making money. Also, if you are working for an organization that has some sort of retirement savings plan or group retirement savings plan set up, I highly recommend you take advantage of it. So usually companies will already contribute a certain percentage of your salary into a group RSP, and then often they will actually match your contribution to a maximum percentage. So let's say you're working for a company that contributes, you know, 2% for you automatically, and then they will actually match your contributions up to 3% of your salary. I highly recommend that you max that out. So if they're gonna match 3%, that you contribute 3%, because obviously you're just gonna get the best bang for your buck and long-term savings. Anyway, let's talk about miscellaneous questions now. So these are like questions that I didn't really have a category to put in, or they're just kind of one-off questions. This is from one of my vlogmas videos, but can you speak fluent Tagalog? So yes, I can sort of speak fluent Tagalog. I was born in the Philippines, if you didn't know that. I came to Canada when I was 5, and so, you know, English is technically not my first language, and my mom would speak Tagalog to me all the time. So yes, I can speak fluent Tagalog, pero hindi ako makapagsalita ng slang. I can't even understand slang, or if the words are too deep. So I can converse with my lola, Usually when we're on the phone, kinukumusta niya ako, nakakapagsalita ako to answer her, but that's it. And usually I switch between English and Tagalog kasi minsan nahihirapan ako maghanap ng tamang word. So yeah, technically I can. I'm not like uber fluent, but yeah, I can speak some. Okay, next question. Do you ever splurge on luxuries? Yes. I have to say between the bow and I, maybe this should have gone in the finance category, but between the bow and I'm definitely the more spendy one in sense that, yeah, I'll buy designer handbags, you know, I'll buy the latest iPhone. You know, I'm usually the more spendy one. I still save, but between the two of us, I'm the one who's more spendy. The beau will occasionally splurge on some things, but for me, I do like the occasional luxury. I have to say over the years, I've been buying less and less. And I don't know, like if I had the discretionary or disposable income that I have now, back when I was probably like 18, 19, my mindset was like totally different then. I would probably be like head to toe Gucci sweatsuit. Because that's just kind of where I was. But now, even just the last probably like 8 years to be honest, I just haven't really been drawn to that many things. Like I love a good classic bag. I love a good leather structured bag. I'm not into like it bags anymore. I used to buy it bags all the time and then I would use it, but then I would regret it after a few months because, you know, it bags usually kind of wear out and you're just not that into it. So I really do just think about purchases a lot more than I used to. I always do my research. I always think like, am I gonna like this in like 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Because yeah, I have sometimes like major buyer's remorse and it like keeps me up at night. I think my iPhone case has just arrived and it's also almost time for Chloe to wake up from her nap. So we're gonna pause the Q&A for a few minutes and I will be back. It is several hours later. That was not UPS earlier. They actually just delivered my Apple silicone case like 2 minutes ago. It's actually 8 o'clock at night. So UPS is definitely working overtime during this holiday season. But I'm gonna open it now because I am excited. Oh, so this is it. The Apple tax on this case is unreal. It was $69 for this case, Canadian. Like I said, I picked it up because I wanted the MagSafe feature and it's pretty much the only case right now that actually has that feature in it. I feel like the camera is not showing its true color. I like how it has a little demonstration on how to put the case on. So you can see the outline of the MagSafe. I do like how the inside of the cases, the Apple cases, are lined. I also really like how this version of the Apple silicone case, this year's version of the Apple silicone case actually covers the bottom too. In the previous years, it just has like this little cutout here so you can access all your ports and you have access to your speaker and your microphone. This year, they actually have it all encased, which I like. Okay, let's see how this looks. Looks good from the front. How does it look? Oh, I actually really like that. It looks very nice. I am very happy with this color and it feels pretty nice in the hand. You know, relatively grippier than the naked iPhone. It also has pretty decent coverage all the way around and it has a little bit of a lip so that if you don't have a screen protector and you put your phone face down, it will catch on this lip a little bit. So it gives you a little bit of screen protection, but I always put a screen protector on because even though this might be the hardest glass that iPhone has made, it's still very prone to scratches. Okay, I'm gonna carry on with the Q&A because there are still a few questions left. Next question is, what's been your best and worst purchase this year or ever? So it's really hard to say because this year I haven't really been buying that many things. One of probably my best purchases was that OOTD O-veil, which I showed you guys earlier. I foresee myself using that for a long time before to get cashmere cream sweaters on. I would actually put the hair turban that I use for my hair, the Aquas hair turban, over my face and then put the sweater on. Sometimes it would create this weird static force field, or obviously because it doesn't cover my whole head, sometimes it would fall off as I'm like putting the sweater on. So the O-Veil, I mean, for the price I paid for it, it's definitely my most used purchase this year. I honestly can't think of something that I have regretted buying this year, just because I've definitely been buying a little bit less, and everything that I've bought, I've really put like a lot of time and effort and thought into. So I can't really think of anything that I've regretted. I have regretted many purchases just in general. I could probably do a whole video of things that I regret buying. I'm gonna cop out and not mention a specific thing, but just say a category of things, and that is impulse purchases. I usually, I wanna say 95% of the time, regret impulse purchases. Just because I like to do my research, and sometimes if I see something and it looks really nice and shiny and new and I just buy it, I might use it for a week or so and then I instantly regret it. Any Christmas gift ideas to share? So this year obviously is a little bit different because of COVID and just kind of in general. I think I mentioned it in the past, but we're not like huge gift givers. I mean, this year probably we will, but more geared towards Chloe. And that's what we've asked from our families who are going to be getting gifts. We said we don't need anything, like the beau and I don't need anything. If they want to give a gift because they just feel so inclined to do so, we've just asked that they get something for Chloe. Not necessarily toys, but books or things like that. And nothing extravagant. One gift that I am doing is I'm actually creating some picture books to give out to, well, one for sure I'm giving to my mom of Chloe, and I'm actually creating one for the beau and I too. And I'm just curating like a bunch of photos, and I really want to find a local print shop to support to have them print it, but I haven't had the best of luck yet finding one, and it's my fault too because I waited too long, so I doubt it would be ready in time for Christmas. It'll just be like an IOU present, but I want to create like this beautiful photo book, so just photos of Chloe over the past year or since she was born to give, and I want to curate it. So the one that I'm creating for the beau and I is really just centered around like him, me, and Chloe as a family. The one I'm going to create for my mom is pictures of Chloe, and then all the pictures I can find of my mom and Chloe, and me, my mom, and Chloe. And then I also want to make one for the beau's parents, which again is more centered around them. So pictures of Chloe, and then all of the photos I can find of Chloe and Nai and Yeye. So yeah, I just think that's like a really sweet gift. I mentioned it a little bit in the Q&A part one, but 2020 had just been a lot about the memories that we created as a family, especially just because it's Chloe's first year. So I want to be able to commemorate it in a book. So I really want to create some photo books, and that's kind of the hallmark present that I'm giving out this year. Okay, so what are your favorite podcasts to listen to? So I have to say that I love listening to podcasts, but I haven't been able to listen to as many podcasts as I'd like. I have a few that I do try to make time to listen to because they're like my favorite podcasts, but in terms of new podcasts, I really have to like get back on the podcast train because I feel like there's so many good ones out there and I'm missing out. But the ones, my favorites, I have two kind of business, economic, like today in news kind of podcasts, and then I have like a beauty podcast that I like. So the beauty podcast that I like, so if you also kind of like to listen to brand owner reviews or new makeup products and new launches and things like that, it's called Breaking Beauty Podcast. And I like it, one, because they are Canadian, and two, it's all about beauty, so who doesn't like that? I really love their episodes where they actually interview beauty brand owners, and then they get tips and tricks, and you kind of get a little bit of a behind the scenes of how the brand was created and new products that they might have coming down the pipeline. So that's one of my favorite beauty related podcasts. The other two are by NPR. So one of them is Planet Money, and then the other one is The Indicator, which is kind of link to Planet Money. So Planet Money is really based mostly around the economy, and it's an American podcast, but I still really enjoy listening to it. And then there's the Indicator from Planet Money, and I like the Indicator because it's quick and short. So sometimes if I'm just like getting ready in the morning, or I'm like blow drying my hair or something like that, I'll listen to this because it's about 10 minutes long. Each episode is around 10 minutes. Planet Money usually ranges between like 15, 20, 25 minutes. And the Indicator usually focuses on one indicator that they talk about for that episode and how it relates to like the economy, the business, culture, the world. And yeah, I really like it, and I like the hosts for both of them, so the Indicator and Planet Money. If anyone else has really good podcast recommendations, let me know in the comments below. So if anyone else likes podcasts, they can just go through the comments and see what everyone else is listening to. What other renos do you have planned? So the only other reno that we have planned, and it's not even really planned yet, it's just the next reno that we have coming down the pipeline, probably next fall. We haven't finalized it with the contractor or anything like that, but it'll be our basement renovation. And like I said, when we moved in, it was an unfinished basement. We never really felt the need to rush on it because it was just the two of us. But now that we have Chloe, we realized we could use that extra finished space down there. So we're gonna finish our basement, and that's pretty much it. Like, everything else in our home has been completely changed. If you did a walkthrough of this house before we had moved in and did a walkthrough now after everything that we've done, there's pretty much nothing the same. For the most part, everything is different. Like, we've repainted the entire house. We've changed every single light fixture in here. We've changed all the toilets. That was like the first thing that we did when we moved in. All of our bathrooms are new. So like all of the fixtures down to the floor and the tub and the sinks are all new. So it's pretty crazy how different it looks. I'm very happy with how it's coming along. Now I just really need to decorate it. I am the worst interior designer. I really need someone to like tell me where to put something on a shelf, because like visually I don't think that way. You know how some people can just like look at a space and be like, this is how this would, you know how some people can just look at a space and think this is how that should be designed? I'm not like that. I need to like peruse Pinterest for hours and hours and house and, you know, pick elements from different inspiration pictures and then kind of piece something together. I can't just like walk into the room and be like bam, bam, bam. But anyway, yeah, next reno would be our basement, and then we're done. This isn't our forever home, but we're gonna be here for the foreseeable future, and yeah, I love our home. Okay, last question. You might be able to hear the Bowie's just taking a shower in the background and also listening to a YouTube video. But the last question is actually a comment on part 1 of the Q&A. It says, looking forward to part 2. I really enjoyed hearing your answers. Thank you. How you look at luxury is so refreshing. Do you still buy luxury or designer goods? I would love to see a collection video. So yes, I'll be doing a collection video as one of the suggestions for Vlogmas. So 3 collection videos before the end of Vlogmas. I'll probably do them this weekend, if not early next week. Makeup, shoes, and bags. So I will be doing those. Maybe I'll just show like maybe my top ones so the videos aren't too long. But in terms of, but do I still buy luxury or designer goods? Yes, I do. I definitely don't buy, well, yeah, I definitely don't buy as much as I used to. And I'm definitely more, I guess, picky about what I do buy. So I always look at the craftsmanship, the quality of the product, maybe it's like the history of the brand. I'm not out there buying it bags anymore. 17, 18-year-old Eliza was definitely all about the it bag, but now I like what I like, and that's what I buy. So I don't have like a huge bag collection, you know, and I don't just buy bags because, you know, I saw it one time in a magazine, well, usually, but I do try to be a little bit more thoughtful about my purchases because, one, I have ended up over the years just getting rid of a lot of bags because I bought them on a whim, or they were like really popular at a particular point in time and I wasn't like super in love with it, but it was like, oh, everyone else has that, so, you know, I'll give it a try too. So I wasted a lot of money doing that, and I'm just not about that anymore. So I buy what I buy, and I keep it even though it's technically not in trend. Like for example, my Mansur Gabrielle bucket bags. I love a bucket bag. I've always loved a bucket bag, and you know, people will say, well, that was really popular for a minute in 2015. It's now almost 2021, and I say, I don't care. It's what I like, and that's what I'll use. So I do put more focus on like the quality and the craftsmanship of the item, and sometimes that does equate to designer items. So yeah, I'm not opposed to like luxury or designer goods. I just, I definitely am not as starstruck by them as I used to be. Okay, so that concludes part 2 of the Q&A. Maybe if I get enough questions throughout Vlogmas, I can do a part 3. You never know. But before we go, because I think that's going to be where I end today's video, let's open our advent calendar. Okay, let's open day 10. It says, be your own secret Santa. It is the end of Vlogmas day 10. It's time to do my nighttime routine and head to bed. Actually, I still have to edit a little bit. So yeah, gonna do that and then go to bed. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for all of the questions, and I hope I gave good answers, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.